Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The fast is finally complete. I'm finally nourished. I got my nutrients in. I broke it around like 9:30 a.m. because a lot of places were closed because it was on Sunday, but finally found some watermelon and yogurt to break it, and then I had some eggs, and then some chicken, and then I passed out and slept up until a few hours ago. And as you saw in the title, I just want to make this video about the importance of making your own decisions and how making your own decisions is probably the best possible option for going in whichever way you want to go in life. And in the past, I usually didn't make my own decisions. I usually just listened to what people told me and just followed along what they said. And that went with college. I was just smoking weed, getting high all the time. I didn't really care what happened. So a lot of people would tell me to go to college for basketball. I was like, okay, you know what? I played basketball all of high school and some of middle school, and basketball sounds okay to me. Christian college, whatever, I'll go. And that was not a really great decision. I should have weighed my options before, but I was high all the time and didn't care. But what I kind of do now when decisions come up in life is I like to write them down and weigh out the pros and cons of each decision and which decision would kind of benefit me the most. And that's how you should kind of weigh your decisions out when making the bigger decisions in life. And once you're able to weigh out your options and make your own decisions, you'll be able to take life in whatever direction you want to go. And as you're thinking about it, think about life as a river and it's ever flowing. Now, a lot of people just sit in their boat, they never paddle, they just let life take them wherever direction it wants to go. But what I think you should do is grab the paddle and start paddling in a direction that you want to go. There's so many different rivers that you can go to. It's a single line, but there's so many different branches you can go out to. Like you can go on so many different adventures in each different river. Now, I was probably destined to go straight down the middle river, but I decided that I wanted to branch out and try a new way and find a new river to discover. So I started paddling, found my way out to Bangkok, found a new way, and now I'm just paddling in that direction. But now I have another branch I have to branch out to. And for those decisions, I've wrote them down. I have 3 different options and weighed out the pros and cons, and I'm still trying to make that decision today. But as you know, a lot of you guys just went to college just because your parents told you to or your friends told you to, or maybe you got that job because your friend recommended it, it's not too bad, and then you go ahead and got that job, and now it sucks, and now you're kind of stuck in that job because it's your only source of money. So making decisions can come into play with a lot of things. It could be getting into a relationship, getting into a friend group. You just kind of go with the flow of life and kind of just get into those things without even weighing out the pros and cons of those decisions. And there's big decisions, little decisions, and middle decisions. There's decisions big and small that you make every single day. And you can practice your decision-making skills by just each day when you're making these decisions, think of the pros and cons of them and the ROI of each one that you make. Because a lot of decisions don't have a really good ROI, like maybe going out to a party and getting drunk. What's the ROI in that? It's like negative 2,000. So decisions like that are pretty small, but they're very big in the long run. So if you can make that decision to just stay home, study or work out or do something actually positive that has a good ROI, that would be the best possible choice for you. And that's kind of what I've been figuring out these last few months, is that a lot of the time we don't even think about what we actually want and what decisions we have in front of us. We just kind of go aimlessly into life with no direction at all. And if you can actually pick up that paddle yourself and start paddling in a way that you want to go, that'd be really, really beneficial to you, and you'll be able to take life in whatever direction you want to go. Now, a lot of people will tell you that you need to make this decision for this reason, and you can listen to that and take that into account when you're weighing out the options. But in the end, it needs to be your decision and up to you, so you can take full responsibility for that. And even in the past, when you've listened to people and taken their direction and went with what they said you should do, it's still your responsibility, even if it doesn't work out, because you decided to listen to them and follow their direction. So even if you messed up in the past, you shouldn't blame other people for the decision that you made or the lack of decision that you made, because in the end, it was all on you. And as a man, you need to be able to take full responsibility for everything that kind of happens to you. You shouldn't be able to blame anyone, because as I was reading I think it's called The Way of the Superior Man, you should be able to take accountability for every single thing that happens to you and even others. So say something bad happens to your parents and you weren't there, that's on you. And if they're financially in a bad spot, that's also on you. So you need to put a lot more pressure on yourself as a man, or else you're going to be lacking forever. And you're not going to be able to become that ultimate man that you should be. And that kind of comes into play with being able to make the decisions and making the best decisions possible. So what it kind of comes down to is being able to make the best decisions and starting with the micro decisions that come into your day-to-day life, and just start practicing with the smaller ones and kind of work your way up to the bigger ones, because the bigger ones will come, especially in your early part of your life, like in your teens and 20s. That's the most important part of your life to kind of set you up for the future. And you need to be making the best ROI decisions possible, like taking those big risks that really scare you, and to make that decision to take on that risk and hop into it with being courageous and being able to handle that risk and take it like a man and be responsible for whatever happens in the end. Now, a lot of these decisions will kind of scare your friends and family because they're big decisions, but if you write down the pros and cons and figure out the pros are a lot bigger than the cons, then that decision will ultimately benefit you and your family, even though it scares them, and it might not make sense to them now, but in the future they'll thank you for being able to take that decision and run with it, and showing them the ROI in the future. Now, the best decision you can make these days is being able to kind of stray away from the bad decisions, because there are so many bad decisions you can make these days. You can go out and party, you can sleep with a bunch of girls, you can do all these drugs, you can do so many bad things, and those bad decisions will just lead you down the line with even more bad decisions. Like you could get a girl pregnant, you could overdose, you could stay out too late and miss work. There's so many like bad things that can happen when you're making these bad decisions. But if you kind of just weigh out the options before you make those bad decisions, you'll realize that those bad decisions aren't worth it in the end, and the ROI is not even close to where you want to go. And the good decisions, on the other hand, will be a high ROI and something that will help you out down the road, like going to the gym, studying, learning a new skill, investing in your business, traveling. Any sort of these decisions, the ROI is 50x, 100x, and will improve your life greatly. So if you can just weigh out the decisions before you make them, it'll just kind of build a momentum to make greater decisions down the line in the future. So definitely start writing down the decisions that you have in life, and make sure that you weigh them out before you actually act on them. And if they're micro daily decisions, you don't have to write them down. Just go over them in your mind before you take action on them. Like say you're in the club or something, or out at the bar, or outside eating at a restaurant, and some girl comes up to you and says, "Hey man, you look cute, you have a nice cowboy hat." And then you're like, "Hold up bro, I got a girlfriend, I can't be going out to your room with you. I gotta stay loyal, stay locked in." Or maybe you're working and your friend is like, "Hey man, let's go to the club for a few minutes and go let off some steam." You could be like, "Okay man, yeah, a few minutes wouldn't hurt," but guess what? Those few minutes turned into 6 hours, eight vodka Red Bulls, and you are out in the streets eating at a 7-Eleven at 7 a.m. in the morning, watching the sunrise and regret. Or the other decision would be to stay in, work hard, make an extra $200, $300, and show profit and the ROI at the end of the night. That's just a basic example of making a micro decision in daily life. You don't have to write that one down. You can kind of just think about it and be like, okay, the obvious choice is just keep working and make some more money. But if there's at the club, there's like a business opportunity. Like there's a boss there, or there's like a very famous guy that you can kind of get in touch with at the club or at this sketchy place, then the ROI might be really good if you can kind of connect with that person and kind of get an opportunity. So you just kind of have to weigh out the different options and put everything into play when making these decisions, and make sure you pick the right one, because there's so many different ones, there's so many different rivers you can go down. You just got to be able to think about them and make the best decision possible for you and your future. And you have to think about your future family, because down the line when you have a son or daughter, they're going to be asking you what you did and how you kind of did things when you were younger. And you don't want to be telling them that you wasted your teens and 20s just doing nothing and jerking off all day. You want to be able to tell them that you invested in yourself and you help make sure that their life was very comfortable and very easy, unlike your life, which probably sucks right now. So just think about your kids when you're making your decisions, because in the end, you're going to be a father or mom one day, and you're going to want to tell your son and daughter that you made the right decisions only for them, and that you provided for them even when they weren't born yet. And they're going to be very grateful for you, and they're going to look up to you and respect you, and you won't ever be frowned upon as a dad, and you'll be looked up to as a great man and a great figure. And that's really what a successful life looks like. If your son or daughter wants to stay with you even after they're moved out, and that they want to hang around you. So you just want to be able to make the best decisions possible in life, and that's pretty much the gist of this video. I'll be making a lot more to come. Hopefully I can get out of this room, but I've been focusing on work, not clubbing, of course. And yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. Not doing a fast for a while. So yeah, hopefully to spar some soon. I have a lot more energy now, so I'm looking to fight some people. But yeah, hopefully we'll have a fight club soon. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.